Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session. My name is Joanne from 8040. I would like to welcome you to this first session of the Pan-African Sign Language Convening. We are meeting for the first time under the African Disability Data Network as a track and sign language, and we are very excited to have you on board. I will be emceeing this session together with my colleague Lillian, whom I would invite to the stage to introduce herself. Then we can start. Lillian?
Thank you so much. Welcome everyone to this session. It's really exciting to see the interest in this topic and all of us here. So Lilian Wanzari is my name from Maseno University. We are part of the consortium running the program, and we welcome you so much. We'll continue to discuss as we go further along. Karibuni.
Thank you so much, Lillian. And Lillian, I know you'll have an opportunity to introduce the consortia partners at a later stage. So we can start with the next slide, Faiza.
I believe this is Lillian sharing the slide.
Okay. Lillian, next slide, kindly. Yeah, thank you so much. So we'll start with a quick, rapid fire introduction. So on the chat, in the next 1 minute, just say your name, the country you're in it. Let's see how many people are able to complete that exercise. And also, as you do that, find time to rename yourself. I think a lot of you joined in as Mary Kate. Kindly rename yourself, and if possible, your organization as well. Your name, country, organization, one fun fact about you. Let's see who has already completed. Interesting. So we have IGAS, if I've pronounced it well. IGAS is still incomplete because you haven't necessarily put one fun fact about you. So we have Susan Otieno. Congratulations, Susan Otieno, for being our first one. So you come from Kenya. You're an independent researcher. You just completed a 3-month basic level class in sign language. Well done. Let's wait and see who will be our top 5. Susan has started as off EGAS. There is Lucy Kawira, Kenya interpreter. I love advocating for persons with disability. Guys, one fun fact about you. Not work, one fun fact about you. Someone else is saying, my name is Marianne Imomeri from Kenya, and a United Disabled Persons of Kenya. Fun fact about me is that I don't like cooking despite being a good cook. Now that's beginning to become interesting. So there's Barak Asidi from Kenya. Guys, we have many other countries in this room. Is it that only Kenyans can type fast or what? Can I have another country, please? So Barak says developing assistive technology, developing assistive language tools for KSL. Fun fact about me is I can't swim, but I love the ocean. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm looking for a non-Kenyan now. No more Kenyans. I'm looking for one non-Kenyan. One non-Kenyan, or we export the typing skills to the other countries. Yes, congratulations, Cornelius. We have Cornelius Fasomo from Lagos, Nigeria, sign language interpreter advocating for PWD inclusion. There is no fun fact. It's incomplete, Cornelius. Do me justice, do me justice. Jacob Bireri, I'm not talking about Kenya anymore. This is Ghana. Fun fact can't be I love to cook. That's not fun. We want the fun fact. So in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to close this if we don't have anyone else from other countries. Kenya still. Philip from Ghana, sign language interpreter. Fun fact, he loves anime. Interesting. That's very interesting. So thank you so much, everyone. Please continue typing on the chat your name, country, organization, one fun fact about you. And when we have time in between the session, we will go back to the chats to see what people wrote. I would like to welcome my colleague Lillian. Lillian, next slide, to join us to share a bit about what you are going to do today. But before that, I'll take you through a quick agenda for today. So we've just had the introduction. Lillian will come on stage and she will share a program overview on Heidi and the ADDN. We'll then have a keynote address from our founder and CEO, Bernard Chiira. Then we will explain more a bit on the three-part webinar, which starts today on these sign language data sets. And then we have invited 3 innovators from across 3 countries to come and share with us their innovation and the challenges that have to do with either accessing or using data sets as they build their solutions. And then we'll have a quick break. And then we'll come back and go into breakout rooms. We were interested to divide the breakout rooms into 4. So East Africa, West Africa, and South Africa. East Africa had a big number where registration is concerned. So we wanted to divide that group into 2. And so we hope that by the time we get to that session, if we have all the participants signed up, we have 64. The ones that signed up were around 80 to 90. So if we even get up to 80, then we'll have the 4 breakout rooms. If not, then we will have 3 breakout rooms. Hopefully you will land in the right breakout rooms, but in case you find yourself in a different breakout room, it's still okay. We are still the same community, so feel free to also contribute in that breakout room. And then once we have the deliberations in the breakout rooms, we'll come back again to plenary, where the rapporteurs in those sessions will share high-level conversations that happened within the breakout rooms, and then we will share the way forward, and we will close, hoping to see you again in the second webinar series. Lillian, over to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you, everyone. So in this session, I will kind of want to give broad overview of the program that you're working on. Yeah, at least to set the stage for us to be able to begin. Okay. So we are currently running a hub. It's called Hub for AI and Disability Inclusion. And the premise really from the work that has been done, we know very well that AI is shaping Africa's future, okay? But when you talk about people living with disabilities, okay, how much of their input in terms of their data, in terms of their requirements, are actually incorporated within these AI systems that are already shaping the continent? So you find that from research, they have been left behind in terms of digital platforms, especially the ones that support our country's sign languages, like Kenyan Sign Language, for instance, or people with the blind, or people with physical disabilities. They're kind of left out. So there's a kind of bias in AI systems, okay? And this is a missed opportunity that we have as a continent. So AI for AD Hub for Disability Inclusion really want to challenge this and kind of let us address this together as a continent. So the hub has 3 main pillars. As you have talked about disability inclusion. 1, the fundamental issue that needs to be addressed is datasets. If we have datasets that support development of AI systems that incorporate people with disabilities, then that is the foundation step. So we're looking at how do we build inclusive datasets for AI to support assistive technology that are able to capture our people living with disabilities. The one that is set up, when you think about it, then we're able to have innovations coming up. AI startups, ecosystems, AI solutions that are going to come up because now we have set up the foundation of the data. And the last bit now, we need to think about what is the research and governance, ethical policies, responsible governance that helps us to govern both the data and the angle of innovation. Those are the three main pillars that the hub is looking at, and you're looking at having all of us in the continent, you included, to contribute to this vision that we have for the hub. Okay. Now, if we look at our first pillar, that is why we are here today. Okay. What do we need to be able to build inclusive AI? Now, the first part is data. We have innovation governance, but those will come in later webinars. For today's webinar, we are focusing on data. Okay. How do we collect? How do we connect? How do we build this? And that is why within the Hub for AI and Disability Inclusion, we have one fundamental angle that is called ADDN. What does that mean? It means Africa Disability Data Network. So we want to form a network of people who are working within the area of disability inclusion to come together, all the stakeholders, whether it's people working on datasets, people working on governance, people working on innovations, people working on policy. How can we come together to make this dataset that is required for our AI to be more visible and available for innovations to thrive? So in ADDN, we are looking at how can we make data more discoverable? How can we find this data across the continent? How can we link the different custodians of the data and the actors within the ecosystem that can be able to work together? How do we strengthen the issues of ethical data practices across the continent? Then how do we, using this network of data and stakeholders, enable responsible water innovations? So one of the main calls that you're asking to the community is, can we join the network? Okay, whether you are the contributor, a sign language expert, a visual inclusion expert, wherever you're coming from, let us join and see then how do we move forward. And this is the basis of today's discussion, is about data sets within this ADDN water network. So like I said, we come together as researchers, innovators, OPD, communities, policy regulators, funders, and builders. It's a shared ecosystem. So that can be able to really bridge this gap that you've realized of data sets not including our community members living with disability. We have many pillars, but one of the main pillars you're looking at is sign language. We also have speech diversity. We also have accessibility in terms of physical disability. We have mental health. We have employment inclusion and the governance. So for today, within the ADDN, our focus is sign language, like you have just been invited. Yeah, we'll have other sessions for the other different parts. But one of these priorities we have is sign language, because we have seen that there are many people who are living with hearing impairments. Then how do we support this? Then we look at speech diversity and the other areas that we're focusing on within the lab as itself. Okay, so we hope that you will be motivated yourself to be able to be joining the network. It is more than just a repository. Think about it, is where are the data? How do we connect the ecosystem? How do we govern the ecosystem? How do we support AI innovations? And everybody's voice is important within this particular ecosystem of the disability network. Who are we? So we have co-consortium members from Ghana, which is the Kwame Nkrumah University of Technology. We have also counterparts from Kenya, which is the 84D. I think some of you might already heard about them. We have also partners called Next Step Foundation. They're also based in Kenya. And finally, ourselves, where I come from, is Maseno University, also working as the coordinator of the research part of it. And we are supported by AI4D, IDRC, together with FCDO, to begin this journey of how do we include our data sets, people with disability, within the different AI systems. With that overview, I'd like to invite Bernard Chiira. Bernard is the CEO of 84D, to kind of give us a keynote address. I think if you're in the disability space, you must have met Bernard Chiira. So Bernard Chiira, if you're around, you can kindly put on your video. I'll stop sharing to invite you to share. Yes, Bernard. There he is. So just as an introduction to Bernard. Yes, we can hear you. Let me just introduce you. Just an introduction to Bernard. So Bernard is the CEO of 84D. Is dedicated to ensuring that technology is not just innovative, but also inclusive. Okay. His leadership sits at the intersection of technology, disability rights, and African innovations. which makes him the perfect voice to open up today's conversation on disability inclusion. Karibu sana, Bernard. Bernard, you can share and start. Huh?
Okay. All right. Okay, I think I'll have to do without my headphones. They were a bit problematic. But I hope you can hear me. So mine will be very short, just to give a brief overview of who we are and why this matters, just to get us started. I'll be sharing my screen a little bit, just confirm that you can see that. All right, so my name is Bernard Chiira, and I'm the founder and CEO at AT4D, also a co-PI in the research work that we've been doing together. A couple of months ago, we launched the scoping study on AI and disability in Africa that really set the stage of where we are today. I have been working at the intersection of disability technology and entrepreneurship for the last close to 7 years. And one thing that we are absolutely sure is that innovation and technology really do not wait. And why I begin with this is because there are many challenges with artificial intelligence, some of them even beyond the scope of the work that we do, on issues like safety, national security, really even existential questions. But in an age where technology advancements are moving at a much higher speed than policy, than movements can keep up with, what then do we do with some of the most important, I would say, questions about humanity? You know, when you think about disability inclusion, it's really rooted on this idea that we are all human first, and that disability rights are human rights. And therefore, any new technology that comes should really be an opportunity to advance those rights, but not to increase any existing barriers. And that's why this work is important. So when we began thinking about the work that we've been doing on disability, we originally started with Africa's first assistive tech accelerator, which we still run today. We were inspired to create AT4D, which is a disability innovation hub and accelerator for assistive technology. And our mission is anchored on technology and people, where we believe that we have to build technologies and communities that enable all of us to thrive. And we are based here in Nairobi, Kenya. I want to quickly skip and just give a highlight of the work that we focus on. As I mentioned, we do run an accelerator where we encourage Africans and innovators to think about disability in a sustainable way by addressing the lack of access to assistive technology. And unlike any other technology, assistive tech, you can think of it through the 5 senses that you have. Think about how we see the world, how we hear the world, how we touch the world, even how we taste the world. Now, impairments are part of being human, but there is technologies that have always enabled that those gaps are breached. And that's why access to assistive technology is very important. It makes things possible for people with disabilities, and they are not optional. They are basic and their human rights. But we exist in a continent where, because of systemic and historic challenges, the assistive technology sector is not developed. The value chains are broken, and until we fix them, we will always have a very big gap. And we're talking about for every 10 people, 9 do not have access to assistive technology. So we do run this program, and it encourages new companies to fill those gaps. And we are also focusing on how do you finance assistive technology. And part of the ADDN and HAIDI is to look at AI startups and how to, support the early stages of innovation and also the pathways to scaling up. We have currently launched a call to innovators already using AI in this sector to apply, so that together we can help create a blueprint for scaling AI innovations in Africa within the context of building the infrastructure and the data that is required. And that's why we have HAIDI and ADDN. And then we root everything we do around community and engaging and expanding that community so that there can be meaningful engagement and participation. And all this is research driven and anchored on research that we continue to produce throughout this work. So I want to end by inviting us as we join together this webinar that is focusing on this area of sign languages. Sign language is a language, and language is part of what makes us human. And advancing sign language across Africa by thinking of how AI can bridge that gap is one of the most meaningful things any innovation community can do. And so as you enter into this, really think about what's happening where languages are getting lost. Even our own indigenous languages are getting lost. But here we do have a moment and an opportunity to preserve one of the most important languages for people who are hearing impaired across Africa. And the diversity of these languages is what makes it more interesting, because it cuts across the 54 countries. And so we have to work together to ensure that in this age of AI, access to sign language does not become optional, but a given right, accessible everywhere, especially in this digital world that we are building. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for that keynote session. It was a good opener to this particular session. So we like to move to the next part of it. Today, like you had mentioned earlier, this is going to be a 3-part series. So remember our 3 pillars that we had at the very beginning of our discussion. So we have many pillars, but the pillar for today is sign language and sign language inclusivity in AI. So the first part of this 3-part webinar series that we're preparing for today is the sign language research and data. So in today's session is the first of those series where we'll be looking at when it comes to sign language data and sign language research with the eye of building AI systems. How is the African ecosystem? In the next series, in this webinar series, we'll target AI and sign language innovations. Now we'll take a deep dive now looking at which and what are the innovations that exist within the continent around sign language work. And the last part in the series will look at policy and advocacy and also governance, okay? But all the 3, what ties them together is continental collaboration and partnerships at the different levels. Because some of us are working on research and data, others are working on policy, but how can we come together as a continent? So today, We're welcoming you to the first part of this three-part series. It's going to look at the sign language research and data as a first part. So we are going to proceed to the next session, and I'd like to invite Joanne to lead us through the first session, looking at innovations. Karibu, Joanne.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lillian. Thank you so much, Lillian. Next slide, please. Not that one. First, the other one. Yeah, this one, the next one. Yeah, so today we have three innovators. We have TalkSign, we have Signverse, and we have DevSync. TalkSign is based in I think UK or US, if I'm not wrong. Signverse, based in Kenya, and then DevSync, and all of them are going to share about their innovations, how they started, what motivated them to start. They will also share their journey towards building their innovations. What data sets did they use? What are some of the challenges, and how they would like to collaborate with this ecosystem. And it will be important for us to pick the key themes that are coming out from their presentations, because that will also form part of the discussions when we go to the breakout rooms. So I would like to invite the founder for TalkSign to come to the stage. Please share your presentation and start. They will have 8 minutes to present, and then we'll move forward to Signverse and then DevSync, and then we will take questions in case you have any. Welcome. Lillian, kindly confirm that they can share their screen.
I have to confirm who they are so that who is sharing, so that we can make them co-host. Who's sharing? Please type so that we know who exactly you are giving the co-host to for the first. Who is sharing from TalkSign?
Trying to check on
Kindly unmute
names.
yourself. Who is sharing?
Mary Kate, if you can support to see whether they have joined. Kindly confirm. I know there are very many Mary Kates. If your name is appearing as Mary Kate, kindly update, and you can update your name by clicking on the 3 dots next to your name, and then you scroll down, you will see the button that is written rename, and put your correct name. The reason why many are appearing as Mary Kate, because the link that was shared was Mary Kate's link. So it's very difficult for us to know who is in the room, because a lot of people are appearing as Mary Kate. Apologies for that. If TalkSign have not joined, then we can move on to Signverse. Signverse, if you're in the room. Signverse. Mary Kate, are you in the room?
Yes, I am. Kevin, Bradley is the one to share the slide for Signverse.
You can make him co-host, then you can just share.
Let's kindly cue the rest. Mary Kate, if you can make the rest co-host so that we don't have this interruption, we will appreciate that. Welcome, Bradley and Kevin.
And again, Mary Kate, kindly you can hotspot Catherine Simaloi.
Okay.
Please go ahead. if you're speaking, you're on mute. Kindly unmute and share.
Yes, this is Teresia. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to pin Andrew. So good afternoon. Can someone assist me to pin Andrew, please? The
Lillian
host of the meeting.
Lillian and Mary Kate, kindly pin Andrew as well.
I have pinned him.
It's not showing, at least on our end.
Yeah, it's not showing. I'm unable to see him.
I'll unmute. I think.
He's actually pinned. Okay.
Bradley is sharing. Who's speaking?
I'm speaking. Teresia Wachira, Andrew's sign language interpreter.
Okay.
But I'm unable to see Andrew pinned on my side, so I'm going to have a little bit of struggle. But I think we can start. I don't know if anyone else can see him pinned.
Yeah, he's now pinned. He's now pinned.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yes, so good afternoon. My name is Andrew Olubala, and this is my sign name. And I work as a community engagement lead at Signverse. I'm very glad to be here. I'll be sharing our journey and the problem that we are solving. And also, we are looking forward for an opportunity for collaboration here in Africa. And my sign language interpreter for today will be Teresia Wachira. And our colleague here who is sharing the screen is Bradley. Okay, apologies for that. So right now, we are going to talk about who we are as Signverse and the problem that we are solving. So Signverse is Africa's leading AI powered accessibility program that is bridging the gap between and making sure that communication between the deaf community and hearing community is seamless using AI. So in Africa, we have over 40 million plus deaf people who experience challenges and barriers in terms of communication, in education, health sector, employment, and public service. Because communication is not always available in sign language. So we have a spoken language technology which is advancing this. Why? Because language and sign language continues to be underrepresented in the developing world in terms of AI. So we have challenges like limitation of sign language resources, shortage of sign language interpreters, and also lack of sign language dataset to build inclusive AI platforms. So Signverse makes sure that deaf people are not excluded in terms of communications and also opportunities. So Signverse has developed AI accessibility platforms which are meant to solve and make sure that communication is accessible for the deaf community. Number one of this product is a Tap Web, which, as you can see on your screens, this is an AI solution which interprets written content into sign language, helping bridge the gap between the deaf and the hearing in terms of text. Another product is Tap 360, and this is a platform that assists deaf people to be able to communicate from text to speech using 3D animated avatars, whereby you can be able to even upload a document and the avatar will interpret for you, as you can see on your screens. And our third product is a solution that makes events, videos, public communications, and technological contents accessible through sign language. So our users are deaf. And also we focus on the deaf and hard of hearing communities, education institutions, governments, community organizations. So how does our solution work? So at the center of our work is data. We depend on data to create and develop our product. So we collaborate with the deaf community, deaf individuals, to collect data, document, annotate, and also validate it in sign language, considering the signs and also the facial expressions. And after we collect this data, we use it to train AI and machine learning systems which are able to recognize sign language. So our system works in 3 layers. We have content integration. This is text or audio, which captures documents or live interpretation and texting. We have language processing. Our AI model is able to translate information in sign language, considering sign language grammar, syntax, because as you know, sign language is not like English. Sign language has its own structure, and it has its own rules. So we have avatars, real-time avatars, which are able to deliver the signed content in real time. So Signverse, we have been able to reach over 1,500 deaf people in Kenya. We have been able to collect over 4,000 plus Kenya Sign Language data. We've also organized and moderated different community engagements, workshops, where we try and do data validation and collect feedback from the deaf community. And also, we've been able to engage with over 10 clients. So our data set uses a data collection process where we involve the community. Where do we get our data from? Our data is derived from Kenya Sign Language vocabulary, where we have video recordings of original deaf signers signing in our studios. We also have community validation, which is glossifying and annotating. And also we use the feedback that we are given by the deaf community when we are developing our platforms. So our data collection process, we recruit and verify deaf signers who come to our offices to do data collection. We also work with community consultants who are deaf and those who are experts in sign language who come and we work together in reviewing our product. We also have recording sessions with the deaf signers. And also we do community review. So let's talk about challenges when we are collecting this data. So these are the challenges that we face when we are collecting the data. Number one, we have limited availability of large-scale sign language datasets. And also we have high costs associated with data collection and annotation and also storage, which means that we have to have deaf signers in our offices when we are doing the process, and we have to pay them for the work that they do. So we have lack of standardized resources for Kenya and African sign languages. We also are experiencing difficulty in approaching different diverse sign languages users across the regions. So in our work, we have ethics that we follow, which make sure that the participants are informed before they start this process. We have privacy and protection of the participants during the data collection process. Every time we involve participants in the data collection process, we make sure that the data that they provide us as Signverse, we make sure that is protected and it is not shared by anyone else or to anyone else.
1 minute, Signverse team. 1 minute.
Okay. And also we have to make sure that we are responsible in the use of AI. So right now we are calling for collaboration. As we know that Africa, in each country, we have different sign language, from Nigerian sign language, Uganda, Tanzania. Because sign language is rich and it also has its own variation. And also we have the same problem that we're experiencing, which is data. So we are looking for partners in different organizations, researchers, institutions, and community groups who have collected sign language data or they are positioning or they are aiming to do so. So that we can use it as we are updating our platform, because we cannot be able to build this alone. So the methodology that we use, we can be able to share it and also be able to deploy this in the government institutions, for example. And to do this, we need your network and also your community association.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Andrew, and thank you so much, Teresa, for a fantastic presentation. It just goes to show that we are truly diverse, and I liked that Signverse team decided to use Andrew to actually make their presentation. That is something that we rarely see in the ecosystem. So thank you so much, Andrew. And I've picked quite a number of things which we will share later. Gilles, are you ready, Gilles? And in the interest of time, because we've taken a bit of time, I think we will shorten the time for presentation so that we are reserve some time for the breakout room discussions. But meanwhile, also, as Gilles is setting up, feel free to chat which country, which sign language do you use in your country? Is it specific? And what are some of the challenges that you've experienced where sign language use is concerned in your country? Feel free to post on chat. Gilles? Gilles?
Yes, I'm ready.
Thank you. Please share your screen.
Okay.
And please take at least 5 minutes maximum so that the last presenter can also take the remaining 5 minutes.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. Go ahead.
Okay. So thank you very much to the ID team for this opportunity and for bringing together innovators working on sign language and inclusion across Africa. I'm Chiira, co-founder and CTO of DevSync, and at DevSync, we build inclusive technology to reduce communication barrier between deaf and caring community, starting from Benin. But before talking about the technology, I want to share with you the problem that pushed us with this. So our work started from a painful reality. In Benin, access to sign language interpretation is very limited. A local estimate is around one interpreter for 2,000 deaf people. And a deaf woman close to our team went to the hospital because there was no interpreter. She could not clearly explain what she was experiencing. Unfortunately, she later passed away. So for us, this is not just about translation, it's about safety, dignity, access to service, health, education, employment, and sometimes life itself. This is why we look at technology, but quickly understand that there is a deeper issue. So at first, we explored available ASL datasets. In a simple way, we could map a gloss to a sign video or try to build a text-to-sign AI model. But we did not have enough training resources for a reliable AI model. Then, by discussing with the deaf community and sign language experts in Benin and globally, they help us understand something important. ASL and Beninese sign language are different, like English and French are different. So, as we know, and as Bernard Chiira said before, sign language are not universal, so they carry culture, region, community, and context. So we started building solutions around local sign language production. Today, DevSync is building an ecosystem of three solutions. First, we have Hand Voice. That is our mobile application already available on the Play Store. Landy is our inclusive learning platform, and Vocode is our API service for sign language production and accessibility integration, currently under development. So for now, we focus only on sign language production, not recognition. You can ask me why. It's because we assume that production helps us make information accessible immediately to serve our community in Benin, even while larger recognition datasets are still being built for recognition. So let's see a demo. Here is hand verification. So the user can enter a text and the model will sign uh, yeah, having connection issues. As we don't have a lot of time, I will move forward. So here is a screenshot of our platform landing, and you can see in the down right corner here our model that can sign the video while the user is watching it. Now let me explain the pipeline behind this. Our current pipeline have 5 steps like you can see. So we have inputs, uh, we have the processing step and mapping output and use. So basically the system can take the content and the context as sign language have its vocabulary and grammar, and we will map it to a sign language asset and produce accessible communication or learning content. So for a first version, this works, but for scale, data quality becomes very important for us. That brings us to our data journey. So, like I said, after understanding the need of local data, we started collecting Beninese sign language, and we worked with experts in the deaf community by applying some ethical and process to collect today around 1,000 words and concepts. And they were recorded as HE video and organized into hand-voice learning model. So this gave us a first practical data pipeline. So here are some example of this data set that we can show you with the consent of the sign language interpreter, which is in the video. So here you can see that this video are very useful, but for scalable sign language production, especially with avatars, raw videos alone is not enough. So this led us to several data challenges. So in the state of in Benin, our first challenges was that we have to start from zero, as there were no public or ready to use Beninese sign language dataset. So our first 1,000 signs are useful, but they're still limited for training a reliable AI model. Another challenge on our side is annotation, and there's raw video that we have collected are also hard to use directly for small avatar production. And finally, we have the challenge of consent privacy and community validation, and that's make the data collection taking a lot of time. So because of this limits, we explored a 3D approach. So today we do not have a motion capture suite or gloves. So like you can see here, our 3D artists watch the expert signing, sign video, and reproduce the movement in a 3D software. Then we extract and optimize the 3D metadata, and we clean and interpolate it in production. So this works for experimentation, but it takes time and it does not scale well as we are using a manual animation process. So that's why motion capture becomes important for us. So motion capture can help us move from raw video to structured motion data. Uh, I can come again after about this slide. So we need collaboration as collaboration is essential for us. So we need support for motion capture currently. We need collaboration for research on open standard as we are talking about creating a Africa Sign Language dataset. We need ethical governance, GPU resources for AI training, and also we need feed validation as we are working currently with the community in Benin. So I want to close with one important point. Our goal is not to is to respect the diversity of Africa's sign language while building shared tools, shared standard, and ethical collaboration. And at DevSync, we are ready to work with this network. We are supported by valuable partners, including M10 Innovation Lab, which could help us open access to millions of users. So together, we can build the data and technology that every African sign language deserves. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gates, for that wonderful presentation. And I totally liked the fact that you are asking for these are the areas we are looking for collaboration. And I have seen on the chat, I'm not sure whether this is Signverse, but I'm assuming it's Signverse. They have also texted on chat and they have said they have a motion capture suite in Nairobi and they are happy to support you with this. So these conversations are bringing real-time collaboration opportunities, which is totally exciting. So Eddie will be our last innovator who will be presenting in this session. Eddie is from TalkSign. Eddie, please take the stage. I know we are running a bit short on time. If you can take a maximum of 8 minutes, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much, and good opportunity to speak to everyone today. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Want to be sure that we're all in alignment. Please, can you give me thumbs up? Okay, cool. Sounds good. My name is Eddie. I'm based here in London. I'm the co-founder and CEO of TalkSign. Bit of context, at the age of 8 and 9, I had 3 friends who lived close by, just basically neighbors. They were deaf, and when we had to go for childhood play, I couldn't understand them because they knew how to sign. I didn't know how to sign, so I told my mom I wanted to learn sign language, and so my mom agreed. And I learned sign language for 3 years. At the age of 12, I became expert in American Sign Language, and then started teaching sign language for about 10 years. Went into corporate world, worked with a couple of interesting companies like Boomplay. My last company was Fireflies, which is a communication and intelligence AI platform that joins a meeting and text notes. I realized that this age-long problem still exists, and for us, we asked ourselves the question: how can we empower individuals with the tools to be able to communicate accessibly in both directions? So for us, the focus is two-way communication and not just one way. Context was supported by NVIDIA and also 11 Labs. Speak a bit more about the team. My co-founder, Swell Kazi, is based in Bangladesh. He worked on American Sign Language during his undergrad day in university, published work on archive on speech to sign and sign to speech bidirectional communication. We also have advisors from University of Edinburgh, Professor Simon King, Professor Benny's Wall, who is the first professor of British Sign Language in the UK, Professor Adams, who is focused on British Sign Language and Australian Sign Language, and Professor Vallis, who is from the University of Texas and focuses on gesture and sign language recognition and computer vision. Together, we're working to solve this big problem. Globally, we know the numbers. 432 million people have hearing loss. The WHO says that 700 million people will by 2050. In Africa, there is that huge gap. 40 million people do have this issue, and it's projected to reach up to 97 million. The big problems exist. There are no mainstream tools that support two-way communication. And so that means that the deaf people are cut off from jobs, education, or even quality healthcare. Solutions that even exist today don't even support offline. And most importantly, the data sets are not available. So for us, we see ourselves as an AI research lab. We're building this accessible communication engine that supports real-time two-way conversation between a deaf person and a hearing person without a need for an interpreter in most cases, because you have to wait for them. Imagine having to call in a VRS as it would be. And we see a lot of use cases across education, healthcare, public spaces, workplace, safety, and even in broadcasting. For example, the World Cup right now, most of the people in the UK and the US are complaining that there are no captioning or no support for them as it would be. We launched our first model in February 26th. That was TalkSign version 1. And then last month, we released to upgrade to that, which is Echo and also PAM, basically sign to speech and speech to sign bidirectionally. We have in the pipeline to release Echo 1.1 and PAM 1.1 by August. A key component of our product is Translate. You can see on my screen the smart glasses. So we've integrated into Meta Glass. We have work in progress with Rockheed and Apple glasses. We also support mobile and desktop and also Chrome extension as it would be. And we also have Canvas, which is like an Adobe suite. So you can upload a video and then you have a caption in sign language, or maybe a sign language video and you have a text subtitle. We're also able to support you with embed, which means that you can take a video, or you can take a text, you can take a link, or even a voice recording, and then it translates it into sign language, and you can embed it on your website, or maybe even at live events, as it would be. And as well, our avatar, which we launched last month, our first photorealistic avatar. It beats the benchmark by a margin. I'm going to play a quick video to show you how it is. To the left would be me signing, and you can see the avatar, and these are the pictures that we just think about HeyGen or Synthesia, where you just take a picture, you can clone your look, and it understands sign language. These are all proprietary, built from the ground up as it is. Again, how do we collect data? We have a marketplace where we launched at beta, kind of very close. We've collected over 70,000 signs as of today. They are pre-processed and ready for use. They're verified by humans, and we have the rights to this. Like I said, that's what we've been able to do. We also have patents for technology. But the challenges still exist. Data sets, even with American Sign Language, is limited. We've had to collaborate with a lot of labs as well to kind of produce or even annotate as it would be. In Nigeria, as I am Nigerian, you rarely have a Nigerian Sign Language data sets available. Kenyan as well, like Kenya Sign Verse, even the Ugandan Sign Language. And so this becomes very hard to train models to be able to support accessible communication. And we've realized, even with American Sign Language, most of the data sets sits with academic licenses. You can't use them for commercial purposes. And so there's a bit of that institutional gatekeeping, right? Or sometimes it's never even collected. That might even be harder even in places like Africa, as it would be. And being able to collect those data sets are very expensive and complex in terms of cleaning up the data, as it would be. And even public data sets are also very small, even with American Sign Language. I'm not sure we even have much of that for African Sign Language. And then there is the issue of ethics, right? What we've been able to do with our marketplace is that we pay contributors. And again, they kind of license us those data that we can use to train our models as it would be. How do you want to collaborate? I think it's a big problem. So we're happy to partner with different bodies, institutions, right, to co-design and collect African Sign Language data. We understand the variances that exist and the cultural nuances. So it makes sense that yes, we partner. We are also happy to get resources like GPUs, which, for example, with AI models, it can be very expensive. We've gotten some support, as of now, but I think we need more as we get to scale our model in terms of accuracy. Interestingly, right now we hit 84% semantic accuracy, and so what that means is that our models don't just translate literal sense of the word, but translate the true meaning, context, and emotion as it is. And in exchange for all of this collaboration, we're happy to give out free credits and even access to our APIs for free. So then, like other, companies, organizations can build on top of that and make accessibility a place. We also have the marketplace as well. That's a great opportunity to earn and contribute, right, as it would be. And as well, we are in current discussion for wearables, that is smart glasses, discounts. So that's something we can also extend to communities who are happy to pilot with us. In terms of our roadmap, American Sign Language is the first. After that would be British Sign Language, Indian, and then we'll start looking inroads into Africa, that's Nigerian Sign Language sometime next year. Yeah, that's basically us. Happy for any questions, if any. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Eddie, for that wonderful presentation. I was hoping that you would say that Africa would be the second priority, but I'm sure we'll get there. We'll come to negotiate with your organization to see how you can prioritize Africa Sign Language data set as your second.
Can I comment? Can I comment?
Yes. In 1 second.
Yeah, truthfully, I'm happy to do Africa tomorrow. It all depends on if, for example, out of this meeting, we say, yes, let's go for it, right? We have every resources on our own side to make it possible. So if there is that prioritization and like we have all the support, definitely. To be sincere, also wanting to start data collecting in Nigeria, but I just had to pause it to kind of focus more on American Sign Language. So yeah, we can do it tomorrow. Like I'm always available. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll chat more about that. Lillian, if we can go back to the presentation. Thank you so much, Eddie, Gills, and the Signbus team for those wonderful presentation. I'm sure they have enabled you to understand the conversation deeper, the challenges, and the areas of collaboration. And we look forward to these conversations continuing. If they're okay with it, we will share their contacts later on once we've seeked their consent so that these discussions can continue. Lillian, if you can go to the next slide. So we have, I think, 20 minutes left. And we have to go into the breakout rooms. Mary Kate, if you can confirm whether the breakout rooms are ready.
Yeah, we're just opening them up right now. So we have named the different rooms. We have East Africa Room 1, East Africa Room 2, West Africa, and South Africa. So kindly join where the region you're from. So we've opened them to everyone.
Awesome. Before you join, Lillian, next slide. In the interest of time, so that we don't go to the breakout rooms and we start going through what we're supposed to do in the breakout room, I will just start us off by explaining what we will do. So we have a set of questions that we will want the discussion to be centered on. Each room has a facilitator who is part of the Heidi network. We will have an introduction, which will be done on chat. So for the introduction, you will not necessarily discuss it. You will just type on chat which country you're based in and whether there is a formal standardized sign language in your country. And if you are an innovator, which innovation are you building? And if you're not an innovator, which innovation around assistive technology for people with hearing impairment have you seen? Have you used? Those you will type on chat. The questions that will be discussed in the room are the first 3 questions under data sets. And then if you are able to speak a bit about the recommendations that would be great. But we understand that 20 minutes is a very short time. So focus on the 3 questions. Later on, we will share with everyone because we really want to collect all your feedback. We'll share a detailed form that you will be able to also answer all these questions, and that way we can collect more detailed feedback from all of you. If you can now move on to your respective rooms, the rooms will be closed 5 minutes before the end of the session, and then you will be required to come back to plenary for way forward. Thank you so much. Please join your rooms.